By the way, good job, guys. We're at 60 subscribers right now. You guys, yeah, I know you guys are. We're catching up to our mental health casual. I had such a good lead. Now I'm 61 to 60. I feel like I'm just competing with myself every single time. But welcome back to Anime Casuals. I'm Lucky.
Here I go! This hand of mine is burning red!
And I'm Michael. Realize the only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed.
Johnny.
Your darkness swallowed up my son? Who decided that?
Erupting! Burning!
Now all of you.
Die.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Casuals. I am Lucky.
In 3, 2, 1, and I'm Michael.
I'm Johnny.
And we make up Anime Casuals. All three of us do. And today we are talking about, in our casual discussion, we are talking about the most memorable moments, the moments that really stuck with us through anime. And so, yeah, I guess I'll go and get this one started just to give you guys a little teaser, a little appetizer, so to speak. And this one actually comes from an anime, but I just remember it becoming, yeah, I know, right? I remember it becoming one of my favorite. This wasn't agreed upon. We didn't talk about anime. What are we talking? Oh
You
my
guys,
God.
I'm changing all my answers. We're going to cartoons.
So this one is the Warp Kamehameha from Dragon Ball Z that Goku pulls off in the Cell Saga, and yeah. So fight me, bro. Fight me, bro.
You know,
Fight
if
me.
I could, warp.
Dude, because so when I saw this in Dragon Ball Z for the first time, I never really thought about it because just like you said, Johnny, like he usually puts his two fingers up to his head, and that's usually how he teleports. So you don't really think about it too much of him being able to just do it willy nilly, and especially with the Kamehameha wave, because that always seemed like a vulnerable position to be in as it is. So, and these people move at light speed. So I'm always wondering like why people just can't get out of the way. You can't get out of the way out of somebody just light speeding into you, you know? And watching what it did to Cell, I mean, granted, he didn't kill him. I mean, he basically did if Cell wasn't Cell. And yeah, it was an amazing thing. And then it became my favorite move to do in Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. It was my favorite thing to do, and it was really hard to pull off because you had to pull off this game of chance that you had to do. Anyway, long story short, the Warp Kamehameha wave was just amazing, and just seeing it happen to such a powerful person like Cell in the beginning of the games, the Cell games, was pretty gnarly. So yeah, what do you have, Michael?
Mine has to be, my first one is from Made in Abyss, and I forced these two to watch it. And I think we can all agree that when we see two young girls go down an elevator together, and one of them comes back a gross blob, that kind of sticks with you. And like that series has some really terrible moments, but that's like one of the worst I've seen. That and the scene where Robot Boy's trying to break her or trying to cut off her arm and is just messing it up thoroughly. Yeah, that series tends to stick with you. So it was a pretty horrific scene to watch, especially like after you go, oh, this cute little rabbit, like she's so adorable. Oh God, her past is so horrible.
It's pretty awful.
Yeah, it sticks with you like yeah, like that piece of dust you can't get out of your eye, or a grain of sand in the just the niche of your butthole. It just doesn't feel great. It's a really good series, but yeah, that's pretty bad.
Michael, speak for yourself. That sand is in there all day, son. So Johnny, what did you come up with?
Well, I don't know if you could tell, but my first choice happened to be the Warp Kamehameha as well.
Oh, you were serious? Oh my God!
Yes.
I thought that was gonna be such a niche one because I was like, oh, they're just gonna say like Kamehameha. They're not gonna say Warp Kamehameha.
Yeah, no, it was definitely the Warp.
Fight me, bro. Fight me.
Dude, he's going to now.
Just to touch on it real quick, I love Cell during that entire time because Goku's not saying anything. He's just charging up and concentrating. And Cell's like, Goku, what are you doing? You can't fire that thing. You're gonna blow up the planet. And then he disappears, and he's behind him, and Cell's just like, no, and he gets destroyed. I love it. But my choice actually is going to be from One Piece. One scene I always kind of look back on for some reason is the fight between Luffy and Bluno when they I don't remember if they're just on. No, they're not on the train. They get to whatever. I don't remember what that place is called now. Ennie's Lobby.
Oh, Ennie's Lobby. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they get there, and Luffy and Bluno are fighting, and he uses second gear for the first time. And it's a great scene because Bluno is this super trained, dude. He's an agent. He's a spy. And Luffy is just blowing his mind with how fast he's going. I mean, like, he's supposed to have super fast things too, and he's just, nope, he's gone. He punched me too hard. I can't open doors quick enough. And I love that scene.
I love, like, during the entire Ennie's Lobbies arc that was there, where he's like, hey, well, I get to step on land super quick, and that's how I can teleport around. And he's like, oh, you're just stepping in the same place multiple times. I'll just do the same thing.
I can move faster.
And we get One Piece logic where it's like, yeah, if you step on the same location instantaneously, like 4 times, you move 4 times faster.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the Toriko logic of how that old lady would walk on water, right? You remember when she was walking on water, and then Kawamatsu or Kamatsu, whatever the name is, he was just like, how are you doing that? She's like, oh, it's just simple. I'm just touching my feet on the water multiple times at the speed of this.
I'm taking a step before I sink every time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, what? So, just do that, kids. If you ever want to just walk on water, just do that. And you ever need to, teleport behind somebody, then yeah, just go ahead and do that. So, another one. Obviously, we're gonna have a lot for these, so we'll just blow through them. But one of them that I definitely had to touch on was the very first episode of Juni Tyson, and for this one, I didn't know what I was thinking when I came into this, just because it showed up. We're following this girl, Boar. I don't know what her real name is, but they're all named after one of the.
It's Boar.
Yeah, it's Boar. But they're all named after one of the Zodiac, one of the Zodiac 12 animals. If you ever see them in Chinese New Year. So we're following this girl. We're seeing her whole backstory. End of the episode, done. Done, wrecked, killed. And I remember looking over at Anime Josh, and we were just like, I thought she was the main character.
Not anymore.
Yeah, and then that just set the precedent for the entire series. So that was a pretty gnarly first episode that you showed us, Michael. How dare you?
It was so good, though. And I admit, I really like anime. I think ever since Johnny and watched, is it Harbor Island? Is that the one with somebody dies every episode?
Harbor Island.
Where
What's it about? Do you know?
So it seemed like a bit for a second. I was like, it's the one where there's the killer on the island with a bunch of friends and
Wait, is it the live action one?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that one called? Harper's Island?
Harper's Island. And Juni Tyson reminds me of that too. I'm like, oh yeah, I can get behind an episode where it's just like, yeah, it's gonna end. A bunch of people are gonna be dead, and we'll just have fun with it. I'm like, yeah. We can get behind that.
And that was an interesting murder mystery show where I guess nobody knew who was gonna die until the episode aired.
They had a whole play,
the actors and actresses, so they would act, and then they'd find out, oh, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Well, so it was a bit kind of twisty and messed with your mind a little bit.
There's a big game where you could do investigative research while watching it, going, what clues are here? Let me mark these down. That was our anime adjacent. No, it's not anime.
It's not anime at all.
My 2 picks, because I'm gonna do 2 real quick back to back, are from Sword Art Online. The first one is from Gun Gale Online and is the last 2 episodes. The feelings that you get when Lilen figures out who oh no, I forgot her name. Oh no. Do either one of you guys remember the crazy awesome chick? No, that's okay. Who basically like her biggest antagonist the entire series is who's like trained her to play the game. They both have a huge love of killing other players in the game and do it amazingly. And then she finally figures out who that character is, and it means like way too much to her. And I was like, wow, what a beautiful setup. Also, spoilers. Is like how adorable that character was in real life really threw me off. And how much the series kind of plays on like the events of Sword Art, which kind of brings me to my second one, which is the second season of Sword Art. At the end of that core, when Kirito and Asuna are playing with like a whole new guild when they got away from like the Thor stuff and the Norse mythology, and they're playing with this new guild who like this girl has super cool powers, and then you find out at the end it's like, if you haven't watched the second season, go watch that. And you find out at the end that like this whole guild of people is all people who are basically terminal in their diseases, and each one of them is slowly dying, and basically the guild's gonna wrap up when they're all dead. And then the girl who like Asuna is receiving power from, like, is dying right now, like in SAO. And I was like, wow, well, I wasn't taken by the first half of the season. The second half was killer and legit made me cry because, like, that's how much it affected me while I was watching it, because I was not expecting that. I was like, I'm always there for the hopefulness of going, oh yeah, don't find a cure, you know, it's the future. And she just she dies like in her virtual arms in this game with the amazingness of medical technology. She's not feeling the pain, but I was like, whew, I'm never gonna forget that one. That one stuck with me. Spoilers, I will be talking about many sad things because those are the things that usually stick with me like the most after watching the anime.
Well, I think also it's so memorable because that whole season was a little until that part, and I think that was what kind of saved the season. So I think that definitely because I remember getting into it, I was just like what is this season like? I'm not super into it, and then that happened. I was like, all right, you assholes, I see how it is. Just save the best for last. You
Yeah,
come on,
absolutely.
Guys. What about you, Johnny?
My next one, I thought of Gurren Lagann, and the scene that came to mind was I don't know, it's been a while, but, you know, spoilers, I guess.
Go watch it.
Close to the end, I don't know, maybe one of the last, like, 4 episodes.
I was going to say, it better be the last 4 episodes, Johnny, because if certain things don't stick with you in that series, I don't know what you're doing.
Yoko sticks with me. No. But it's the scene where they're fighting, and the mechs have gotten so big that they're just moving galaxies around. And I'm never gonna forget that. I'm like, no other mech series is ever gonna compare to Gurren Lagann in that respect. I mean, that was insane. They're throwing galaxies at each other. Wow.
That's a lot of people did.
How do you just grab? Like, that's insane. And yeah. So that was Gurren Lagann was my answer.
Yeah, if you don't know, the name of Gurren Lagann, the series, is like Tengen Toppa something Gurren Lagann, which is literally the name of the robot at the end of the series.
Yeah, because it goes through many different names, but yeah, there is.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you ever want to like figure that out, there is a great YouTube video out there. I can't exactly remember where it is, that shows you like how big that particular thing is compared to like some of the biggest things you've ever seen, like Big Macs, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, there's a great. I don't think it's the same person, but there's great series of YouTube videos out there for all sorts of genres that show. They're just like size charts. So you just like do King like Kong. Anime size chart, and they'll just slowly go, this is the smallest thing, and then they'll be like, this is a person, and then you'll see about 5 minutes in the video that person's gone. They're over here now.
They're like an ant on that other person. Yeah. And you know, I have to bring this one up because it's probably the most watched scene that I ever see, and that's due to like watching reactors react to it, like, you know, me watching it over and over, is the Pain fight scene, but in particular is Pain's cycle of hatred speech to Naruto. and I watched it in both English and I was about to say Spanish, and I have not seen that, and Japanese, and well, it was crazy, man. Pain has an even deeper voice in Spanish, if you can believe that. But
And Naruto has a really high one for some reason.
yeah, nobody knows, but yeah, hearing that's one of the most like philosophically like engaging speeches I've ever seen anybody give, like in terms of villains. Like that's one of my favorite speeches, and it's such a powerful point. I remember that's what started making me think about like real life events. Like I was thinking, like, is this what, like, not to get too into it, but like, is this what drives people to just start wars? Like, it's just this cycle of hatred and all this stuff. It really threw me off. Like, it really stuck with me bad, and I had to watch different people's reactions to it because I was like, am I the only one thinking this? Is like, oh no, there's a lot of people thinking about this too. So, yeah, Pain talking to Naruto, and especially when he's actually saying like, hey, especially hearing Naruto be like, I don't really have a plan. I'm just gonna kill you. I'm gonna bring justice to the world. He's like, oh, that is a good plan, but what about my friends? What about my family? And I was just like, whoa, he said it. He said it. Oh shoot, what are you gonna say now? And he didn't have anything to say. He's literally the only villain that's ever rendered Naruto completely speechless for like an episode or two.
Believe it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, I have an equally as classic one to that, but instead of being towards the like later half of a series, it's right in the first episode. And we're talking about Attack on Titan. I never will I ever have watched an anime that so violently grasped my attention and didn't let go until the credits started rolling. And to be honest, when I was watching Attack on Titan, like the first 5 or 10 minutes is like pretty bland. It's like, oh, these kids, they're chilling out. And then Eren has a vision next to a tree, and you're like, what's that about? And then you keep going, which has major repercussions on our season this year. But you keep going, and then finally they're like, and everybody's looking up, and you're like, what? What are they looking up at? And you just see a giant Titan face creep over, and like everything goes to shit immediately. And there's violence, there's blood, there's gore, moms are eaten, dads are nowhere to be found. And that's like the first episode of Attack on Titan, that one moment of the kick of the door as it flies and just people are crushed is equal to the Game of Thrones explosion, where you're just like, play the game, play the, like, point, kill. And like that moment has stuck with me since. That when we rewatched it with a couple people who've never seen Attack on Titan before, or were like needing to do a rewatch, like my brain was just exploded by how intense that first episode was. Like it's violent, and I love it. I love it, John.
It's crazy to think back that far. And, oh my God, what we know now. Oh, geez.
Yeah, theories for later in the other thing. Johnny, I got one more.
My next one is going to be from 7 Deadly Sins, and it's
ooh, not 6 Deadly Sins.
No, or 8.
Yeah,
it's our intro to Escanor, seeing him deal with Gallant, the whole. It might be over 2 episodes, but that entire just scene of they show up and they're like, Barkeep, I'm going to kill you unless you give us those people back there, and they get drunk and they almost kill him. But then they go into this game, and Gallant very quickly regrets everything he's done up to that point. And what's crazy is we've seen the 10 Commandments kick so much ass, especially Gallant. But then up to Escanor, it's just, I don't remember her name, but the other 10 Commandment that flies around, she is like, Gallant, you got to get out of here. It's like, I can't lose. And then he goes for it, and he runs away, and he turns to stone. The whole scene.
Or something
it's
like
Malacula.
Some vampire sounding name.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
Malacula, that's what it is.
Yeah, there you go. It's some vampire sounding.
Entire just scene of that is great. And it's a super awesome intro to a character.
By the way, I lied. I have 2 more.
Oh dang! So I got 2 more too. Oh, we're still raising the stakes.
You're just gonna.
You know what? I got 3 more, Leggy.
I don't have that many, but yeah, my next one. My next one. I'm trying to remember why I started watching this series because if I'm not mistaken, I made you guys watch it. And then,
No,
but
you
yeah.
didn't,
Anyway,
because I don't know what you're talking about right now. But
so
I will violently disagree with you.
I'm talking about Akame ga Kill.
Oh yeah, okay, never mind.
I
You're right.
first heard about this. I first heard about it from a Watch Mojo countdown, and I was just like, okay. And they called it the Game of Thrones of like anime. I've heard all that, saying before. And I had to see it. I had to figure out what is so special about this anime. First episode kicks off. Everything's great. We get the main character, slaying things. He's like, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be an adventurer. Comes from a town, a village, sorry, that's impoverished, all that kind of stuff. He's gonna make it better. He's got two friends that he hasn't seen, and he's gonna meet up
Yeah,
with them. And then
yeah.
gets taken in by this beautiful girl, beautiful like royalty, all that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, fast forward, Night Raid comes in. All the cool characters end up coming in, murdering the entire mansion, and then all of a sudden, you figure out that this woman who's like, oh, I pick up, stray people off the street, all that stuff. You figure out that she's got a torture chamber, and she's got his two friends in it. I'm like,
She's a horrible person.
that was one of the craziest things that I like. That's one of the craziest first episodes to this day that I've ever seen. There's definitely crazy first episodes. That like just whenever I think of crazy first episodes, that's usually the very first one I think of, and
Yeah.
it really left an impact on me.
Yeah, dude, that and Attack on Titan are like that equal. Just like, oh, I didn't expect a bunch of people to die in this. Like, I just got started watching this. Now we're gonna take a trip away from death to adorableness and love. And to this day, I don't watch a ton of romantic anime, but like romantic stories do get me at times. Like they'll be like, "Yo, Michael, come on here." I'm like, "Okay," and I'll jump over and watch them. And by far my favorite, probably because it has to do with games, is Recovery of an MMO Junkie. And like towards the end, where the two of them like finally go out on a date, and it's like the most awkward adorableness between two people who are like neats, basically, who just like live at home, go to job, go back home and play online. I was like, how do they understand me so well? And legit brought a tear to my eye when I watched it the first time, because we did an episode about it a while ago where we sat down and watched it, and I was still hoping for more than just an OVA or OAV. But I'll be happy with it. They, we can assume that they fucked. So, whatever. And like that just that last part, and the specific moment that really caught me is when his best friend is the best wingman that we will ever see on this planet. Where he's like, "Bro, I've been going out with her constantly, basically to make her more comfortable around people, to get her self-esteem higher, and to hook you up, bro. I would never do that to you. She's yours." And he's like, "Bro."
Bros before hoes.
Yeah, dude. That's kind of like casual bros Paul. Like you can imagine he would be in the same room as that wingman guy. It's just like, "Yo, you thought I was dating her this whole time? No. Dude, this is a 6-month setup to get you with her. Go be happy." And it's like, "Oh, Paul. Oh, casual brothers Paul." You got another one, Johnny?
I do. I have one more, and I've been saving this one for years. When we first talked about doing a ball drop video, but
that's gonna come out in the future. Be ready for it.
I'm gonna say mine now. I'm blowing my load.
They're huge.
So it's from Bleach. It's Shisui Hisage. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he's one of the lieutenants. And his whole scene with he's fighting the I don't remember what they're called, like the Espada, but they got the numbers like the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. That
is it Arn Carr?
Oh, Rankar?
Is that
maybe they were? I don't. It's been so long since I've seen Bleach, but it's those guys. And one of the lieutenants of those guys, he's like this blonde dude with like a crab hand, and he is pushing my boy Hisage around all the time until at one point he releases his sword, his Shikai, and everything just changes right there. Like the music gets really intense. And even all the captains nearby are like, well, it's about time. Like, oh, so he's doing it. Oh my God. Like they all acknowledge him right there. And I'm like, what the hell? Oh my God. And he proceeds to scare the crap out of this dude because he's just like, man, I really hate my sword. I mean, just look at it. It just looks like death. And it's two, if I remember right, it's two scythes on it, like little scythes, and it's like a little handheld with a chain in between. And he just starts chasing this dude down and destroying him. And he breaks him mentally just right before killing him. It's crazy. And I've always loved that scene. So there you go.
Is that
That'd be my
the
last one?
Wow.
Is that the same dude who's from the squad that like
Yeah, actually, Michael,
ranks
before you
above
before
all?
you before you get into it, Johnny, somehow we're in sync today because my next moment involves that guy, and I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Hey.
He does come from the squad that there's a guy that's blind, and he ends up leaving along with what I forgot what the other guy's name is, but Aizen as well.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
that
Bean Ichimaru.
yeah, there you go. And anyway, the blind guy ends up just giving into it and giving in, becomes this crazy chameleon-looking fly thing, and
Yeah.
he's wrecking the Shiba guy. I can't remember his name. The Tengen Myo. But anyway, he's just wrecking him, and you're just like, yo, dude, get out of here. And the lieutenant's like trying to help him, right? And you're just like, what help are you gonna do? All of a sudden, sticks his sword in, and he activates his Shikai, which transforms it into those sides, and just parts this guy's eyes. And I was like, or parts this guy's skull, and I'm like, yo, that was pretty cool, dude. Like that guy gets my respect because the one thing about Bleach that I really didn't like was the power scaling. I was just like, I feel like you're falling into some Dragon Ball traps right now, and you need to stop it
Little bit.
because yeah, because but at least that was a tactical thing. Like he can't beat him, but it was just like he's just like yo, and what he said to him too, he's like you now that you can see, like you've truly become blind. I was like, oh my god, that's some crazy stuff, man. That's so crazy. But yeah, that was just one of my favorite moments in Bleach, and
He doesn't get enough scenes, but all of his scenes are pretty good.
oh, definitely, dude. Oh my god. What about you,
Hey,
Michael?
we can wait for that next season of Bleach to come out later this year, apparently.
Oh man.
I was also gonna be like the other. It's not the same guy, right? The blonde guy who has like four flopped over daggers or something. Who's like, I can never use my Shikai because it's against our code.
Oh,
That guy.
he's like, I don't know, the pretty boy guy.
Yeah, with the little
peacock.
He
flower
looks really
guy.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the.
I like
three
that guy's
colors,
scene
and he-
too. It's also a memorable moment from.
He always
Bleach.
says his Shikai by the wrong name, so it doesn't show up.
Yeah,
right.
and then,
it's
like-
crazy.
And then the one time you see it come out, he's like, yeah, I don't like what it does either, so I just don't use it.
Even though it's incredibly strong.
And it wrecks people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little too much.
Yeah. So my final one is from the anime series, probably rarely known at this point, called My Hero Academia. Nobody knows about
Never
that
heard
one
of
right
it.
now.
No.
And I would say it's probably a pretty popular scene too. It's the United States Smash. And the biggest thing with that moment is it gave me prickly chills all up my arms, like the first 10 times I watched it, because how balls to the wall that moment is, where you see All Might like basically near defeat, and he basically has to use the trickiest strategies ever of throwing the last of his power between his arms to finally finish this guy. It doesn't even finish him. Like, he's still alive and still very much can use his powers, but it's pretty messed up. And I'm like, wow, this was such a good, it's very similar to the Jiraiya scene where Jiraiya goes against Pain, where you get to see a master who has taught his student a lot go against one of the big bad guys of the series and just show off how much power that Deku could eventually get up to. Probably past that, because that's how that power works. And this is one of the best done scenes of that nature that I've ever seen. is it shows off Master and Big Bad's powers at the same time while ending that and giving it off to the next series without making them seem underwhelmed. Like when you saw Jiraiya like do as much as he could do, you're like, wow, Naruto's got to step it up. He's got to step up his game to get to Jiraiya.
He did a lot
Like
of crazy shit.
Deku's the same way, but it seemed like Deku is now starting on that path, just like Naruto did, and it's such a unique scene to see from like big shonen to be like, I want to see like Jujutsu Kaisen. I wanted to see what that dude could do. Blindfold guy. I'm not gonna remember anybody's name in that show. But I want to see what that guy could do. And then you see what he could do, and you're like, whoa! And that's why I'm gonna just leave that there because I don't want to spoil that for anybody. It's really cool. And I think every show that has a master like apprentice, you got to see what that master can do, or else you never know what the apprentice can get up to. And All Might really showed it off. And then instead of like having him die, he gets to step back into a nice teacher role. So that's my final one. Super memorable. Anything else from you two? Any other memorable moments? Honorable shout outs?
What about you, Johnny? You got anything?
Sure, I'll do one more just because you made me think of it. I was trying to think of one for My Hero as well, and when you started talking about it, I actually remembered one scene in particular. It's close to the end of season 1 where All Might fights that Nomu, and it's just that quick beginning of All Might goes in, the Nomu goes in. I even went back and I played it as slow as I could, but they're like, dink, and everything around them is just gone. It just explodes, and that insane force of power, just seeing that and how it culminated was just super awesome to see. It was a good lead into how strong is All Might. At least for me, I liked it.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. That's dude. Oh my god. Yeah, My Hero has just too many of them. But yeah, so those are some of our most memorable moments. Obviously, we could probably go on forever because there were just more and more that popped in my brain as we were talking. And yeah, it like I said, there's just so many memorable moments. Anime in general is just a memorable genre. So watch it if you're not already. Well, if you're already watching this channel, you should be already watching it.
Watch it casually.
And if you haven't watched it, there's so many more memorable moments in Redo the Healer. Yeah,
I didn't want to mention those, but yeah, I didn't want to mention those just because it's fairly new, and even though it is very memorable, I'm sure there
you
are
can't get it
more
out of
to
your
come.
head. One would say,
I'm sure there are more to come, and I didn't mean that as a pun. Anyway, guys, if you guys want to check out our link tree down below, I will put it in our description box if you're listening to this on podcast as well. Thank you guys very much for supporting us, and yeah, you can check out anything and everything, all casual, in our Casual Empire link tree. So, as usual, guys, don't forget to keep it casual.